balance the World Bank with the United Nations, we invite poor Mathieu.
Balancing, complementing, I don't know. I leave it to you. Okay, first a few words about what we think about large-scale investment and acquisition. Well, investment in land and agriculture is essential, but not any kind of investment is good and will produce development. So investment is good, not any kind of investment, and there's a need to have an agricultural policy and a development strategy, as was mentioned by Klaus. Second, land grabbing, taking land away from people is obviously not good. By the way, these are some basic points to start. A third basic point is that the main investors in land and agriculture in the developing world are the 500 million smallholders farming households who are feeding 2-3 billion of people in the developing world. This being said, what does FAO do to address these problems? We are engaging in two major initiatives, and it's important to distinguish them and to see that there are obviously some linkages. The first one is preparing voluntary guidelines for the responsible governance of the tenure of land and natural resources. That is a long-term and very much participatory process, which started in late 2008. There were 15 regional and thematic consultations. The zero draft of the voluntary guidelines is being prepared and translated at the moment, and will be available for consultation and for comments and contributions in exactly 8 days from now. I have left there and at the table at the entrance of the coffee room 2 leaflets on the voluntary guidelines process and on the electronic consultation. These voluntary guidelines will be an international guiding instruments to be used by states, investors, civil society, actors, farmers, organizations, and it will set out principles and internationally accepted standards addressing governance issues. Governance, what does it mean? It can mean lots of things. It's mainly having the public institutions working well for the public good. And depending on context, that may imply many specific type of actions. The voluntary guidelines will be a non-binding and indicative documents with mainly principles, describing principles and standards and actions in simple and clear language, actions, principles that can promote a good governance of land tenure. This is partly a human rights-based approach. The work on the voluntary guidelines is building upon the existing voluntary guidelines for the progressive implementation of the right to food, which was already mentioning the importance of access to land, and will also be building building on and linking to other initiatives. One being the FAO long-term work in improving secure access to land, including the International Conference on Agrarian Reform and Rural Development, IFAD, held in Porto Alegre in 2006. And in addition, the guidelines are being drafted considering the need to complement and to mutually support with other regional initiatives, such as the land initiative of the land policy initiative of the African Union, UN Economic Commission for Africa, and Africa Development Bank. So this is the first important initiative. The next steps are, this I told you, in 8 days, the zero draft will be available for an electronic consultation during 1 month. building on the result of these consultations, there will be a draft 1 produced in all FAO languages by June 1. Then during June and the first 3 weeks of July, under the leadership of the Committee on Food Security of FAO, there will be some regional and stakeholder reviews, a plenary review and finalizations of the text of the voluntary guidelines will be done in Rome, led again by the CFS, between the 25th and the 28th of July, and it is expected that these voluntary guidelines be considered for approval at the 37th session of the Committee on Food Security on October 18, between October 18 and 27 in Rome. When they are approved, the next step will be supporting implementation, which will be something much more context-specific, addressing a range of issues, responsible land governance and, well, private investment is one, and gender and pastoralism and indigenous people and etc. The second initiative is FAO is participating in an initiative by 4 UN or UN-related agencies, FAO, the World Bank, IFAD, and Audinet, to prepare principles for responsible agricultural investment. Currently, the 7 principles proposed for discussion are the 7 principles that were mentioned by Klaus in one of its slides. And again, there will be a twin-track process to move these principles forward. First, a broad consultation under the leadership of the Committee for World Food Security. And the time frame for that is between now and October 2012. And there will be some specific country-based efforts to see how the principles can in fact be operationalized and can be used with some specific tools, and that will be done on a testing and piloting approach. And this will be led by the consortium of the 4 organizations. I think I stop here.
Thank you very much, Bob.